Hello everyone. So I'm going to share my screen and I'm going to show everyone can see it hopefully. Payam, just give me a yes because I cannot see the faces anymore, just my own screen. So I'm going to talk to the laptop, which is very strange for me. I'm very, very happy, first of all, that you took your decision, made your decision to come and join me for this beautiful talk. First of all, because if you just listen the title, Four Kinds of Love, it's something that maybe most of the people would think that, oh, I know this already. Because we are all in one way or another connected to the topic of love. Because love is so precious in everyone's life. Let it be someone like Nelson Mandela, or let it be the biggest dictator, the worst person. Everyone deep down has this feeling of love towards something. And I thought myself for many, many years as well that I know a lot about love through my life until I became a follower of the Baha'i teachings, which goes back to 2001, where I started to immensely invest my time and energy to study the writings of the Baha'i teachings, which has completely transformed my life. And it's thanks to those beautiful quotations, which I'm going to share with you, that I have so much clarity today about life. And it's thanks to the Baha'i teachings that today I'm really doing what I truly love, which is speaking about God. And whatever I do and whatever I think and whatever I speak is always around love, because God is love. And this is such a precious topic that I think everyone should know about. And that's why I really wanted to share with you this four kinds of love, because once we learn about it, we become so much more aware, so much more conscious about what is true love means and what is when it's actually not really love. We think about it as love, but most of the time, unfortunately, we are not truly following or doing what love is. So the source of my talk is coming from Abdul Baha, which is written on my screen, from Paris Talks.
Well, I can't see the screen. If you're sharing, unfortunately, I can't
okay,
see it.
So you can see it. So let me try to share it then. Hold on a second. How can I share it?
Share screen.
Okay. Host disabled participants screen sharing. So you need to give me the authority that I can share my love to the people of the world.
Let's see where we can find that. Screen sharing. Okay. Multiple. That's right here. Okay.
Saying host disabled attendee screen sharing. It's the host.
Sharing option. Yes. All participants. Now we are done. Now it should be all right. Try again, Balazs.
Brilliant. So look at that. Can you see me? Yes. Can you see my...
Yes.
Yes?
Yes, now yes.
Awesome. So here is a big heart right in front of you. Hopefully you can see that.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Good. So you can see on the screen, the source is coming from my master, Abdul Baha, who is my spiritual teacher for many, many years. And one of his book where I found about the four kinds of love is called Paris Talks. I highly recommend everyone to get this book, this was actually written down in 1912 because Abdul Baha went to Paris at this year, and he gave a lot of talks, and this is how the book was written down. Through his talks were written down into a book. So let me go on and start with the main question, which we should a bit investigate before we go into the 4 kinds of love, because we must understand what is the purpose of our creation before we go into the topic of love. So the question I ask is something we all, I believe, ask ourselves at a stage of our life. Who am I? What is the purpose of my life? And according to the Baha'i teachings, Baha'u'llah says in the hidden words, "O son of man, I love thy creation, hence I created thee. Wherefore do thou love me, that I may name thy name and fill thy soul with the spirit of life." So this is from the hidden words of Baha'u'llah. Baha'u'llah was the founder of the Baha'i faith. And in these hidden words is like God speaking to humanity. So when he says, "Oh, son of man," is basically talking to humanity, that, "Oh, people of the world," and explaining why the creator, God, or the universe, or higher consciousness, or whatever you want to call it, it doesn't matter, has created us. And here it's very clearly says that the reason why we were created is because of love. So all which we need to realize right from the beginning is that the purpose, your purpose of your existence was because of love. God created us because of his love towards us. And then in the second part, he asks us to please do thou love me, that I may name thy name and fill thy soul with the spirit of life. I will explain you a bit in details what does this mean very, very soon. There is another beautiful prayer which really helps us to understand our creation, our purpose in life. And this is a beautiful prayer from Baha'u'llah, which we Baha'is say it every day. It's an obligatory prayer, and that's why it's so important. It says, "I bear witness, O my God, that thou hast created me to know thee and to worship thee. I testify at this moment to my powerlessness and to thy might, to my poverty and to thy wealth. There is none other God but thee, the help in peril, the self-subsisting." So the reason I put this quotation in, because here it also clearly says that what is our purpose from our side, because God's purpose in our creation was out of love towards us. Now, what is our purpose from our side as human beings, as beautiful souls in a human form? Let's put it this way, because I believe, and I think we all agree on this, that we are not just human beings, because the human beingness is really for a very short period of time in this human form, which lasts for maybe 70, 80, 90, 100 years, we don't know. But what is truly matters is to recognize that we are the soul in this human form, which has an eternal journey towards the divine. And here in this beautiful obligatory prayer, it's very clearly states that the purpose of me and every human soul is to know God. It's the third line, to know thee, to know God, and to worship thee, and to basically follow his teachings, his commandments. So this is just to give you an introduction before we go into the 4 kinds of love, that in order that we truly can understand our creation and our relationship with the Creator, which is, we will learn, is love itself, we must be able to recognize him and worship him, to have a true connection with ourselves and to all creatures of the world. So, what is love? The good things, when I don't know something 100%, I always look into the holy writings. And that's the beauty of being connected to God or to this divine knowledge. And that's why we have all the beautiful prophets of God, Krishna, Moses, Zoroaster, Buddha, Jesus, Mohammed, or Baha'u'llah. These are all our spiritual educators, divine teachers who came to humanity to teach us about the truth. And love is the truth. So in order that I can truly understand love, I must be connected to these spiritual writings of the divine, which are available from all of us. All we need to do is look into these writings. So when I want to know what is love, and I would ask everyone what is love, we all have, I don't know how many of you there, but we would all have a different perspective on love, right? Because you would talk about love from your own perception, from your own experience. If you had a terrible relationship before you came here and you are divorced, probably you would have not the same perception about love than the other person who is living in harmony with his partner. Giving you an example. So, but just because you have a different perception about love, it does not mean that there are many loves, because the divine love and the definition of love is very precise. So if I look out of the window and I check out the sun and I say the sun is yellow, and then Payam says no, the sun is white, and then Aldo says no, the sun is purple, we might all right. But it doesn't mean that we have 3 suns, right? So the same thing with everything in life. In my understanding, if I truly want to understand something, I always look into the divine holy writings. And here we go. This is what Abdul Baha says about what love is. And I think it's worth not just reading it, but studying it day and night, every morning, every evening, until you know by heart and you are living it as the greatest hymn or the greatest teaching of all. What a power is love! It is the most wonderful, the greatest of all living powers. Love gives life to the lifeless. Love lights a flame in the heart that is cold. Love brings hope to the hopeless and gladdens the hearts of the sorrowful. So you can see how transformative love is. As it says, love gives life to the lifeless. It is the most wonderful, the greatest of all living powers. The interesting thing is that we know that this is the greatest power in the world, in the universe, in the reality of this higher consciousness and lower consciousness as well. But still, we are not practicing it enough. And the greatest way to practice it more efficiently is when we are more knowledgeable about it. And that's why we are talking about it now. So let's go into the 4 kinds of love, which I truly believe that will completely change your perspective about love and simplifies our understanding about it, and it defines it. It's set for life and hopefully beyond our understanding about it. So there are 4 kinds of love according to Abdul Baha, which helps us all to become a better person, a better lover of God. So the first kinds of love, according to Abdul Baha, is a love which flows from God towards humanity. This is how he explains it to us. The first is the love that flows from God to man. It consists of the inexhaustible graces, the divine effulgence, and heavenly illumination. Through this love, the word of being receives life. Through this love, man is endowed with physical existence until, through the breath of the Holy Spirit, this same love, he receives eternal life and becomes the image of the living God. This love is the origin of all the love in the world of creation. I highlighted these, the most important words, which is worth to investigate on them, to understand what is really it talks about to us, Abdul Baha tells us. So this love is something which belongs to humanity. It does not depend on who you are, what you've done or haven't done, if you are believing God or not believing God, if you are black or white, if you are this or that. This is something which is given to not just humanity, but actually it's given to the all creatures of the world, because let's talk about this Mother Earth right now. So all creatures of the world given this love, but as we are talking about human regarding human lives, then it's now related to humanity. So it's like the sun, if you could imagine the sun, because the sun gives us life. Without the sun, there is no life on Mother Earth. The same way as God gives us his love, and actually he created us out of his love, the same way we receive this love unconditionally throughout day and night. And even at night, when you look up to the sky, you still see the stars, which is the reflection of the sun. Somebody's making a noise. Can you mute, please, Payam down, the person? Thank you. So by the end of my talk, actually, you will be able to. So when God gives love to humanity, it means that it's for everyone and it's inexhaustible. So what does that mean, inexhaustible? That no matter what, it's always going to flow to you.
even if you make big mistakes, small mistakes, even if you do things which is not really according to the teachings of this divine truth. And it also talks about heavenly illumination. So if I receive this, only then I could truly understand what love is. Because if I don't receive the rays of the sun, I stay in darkness. And if there is darkness, you won't understand light. Therefore, we must, and that's the second kinds of love. Just let's move to the second kinds of love. We must return our love, which we receive from the divine, back to him, in order that this love can circulate between every soul and every and the creator. So this love affair between God and you is an ongoing love affair. And here Abdu'l-Baha explains the second is the love that flows from man to God. This is faith, attraction to the divine, and kindlement, progress, entrance into the kingdom of God, receiving the bounties of God, illumination with the lights of the kingdom. This love is the origin of all philanthropy. Philanthropy means the desire to promote the welfare of others, or we can use the word generosity. This love causes the hearts of man to reflect the rays of the sun of reality. So this is the love which gives us faith in your life and in the cause of God. And this helps you to actually live your life according to your creation, which is love itself. So I also wanted to share you a few quotations between these different types of love. And Abdu'l-Baha says, love is light in whatsoever house it may shine. It's just related to the first love, which I mentioned to you, that God's love, the first love, is towards everyone, but you can only receive it into your house and feel the strength of the light of the sun in your heart if you open your curtains, open your heart towards this higher consciousness, towards this divine creator. Abdu'l-Baha also have another beautiful quote: love is the spirit of life unto the adorned body of mankind. This is just another beautiful explanation that mankind is created for the pure purpose of love. And until or unless we have a reciprocity, it's like a reflection to this love, we humankind would never ever be able to unify and become as one human consciousness. It's like the mirror which can only reflect the rays of the sun if this mirror is turned towards the creator. Until this mirror is not turned over the sun, we won't be able to receive this spirit of life, which we call love. And that's what the second love is conditioned compared to the first love, because the first one is unconditional. There are no conditions. You don't need to do anything about it, it happens. It's like the first 9 months in the womb of the mother, you were developing all your capacities for this womb of the earth in that 9 months, pure, because of pure love provided by God to you. There's nothing you needed to do. But the second love, now here, you must do something about it. And that's why many people, unfortunately, have no true experience of love, this divine love, because they are not opening their hearts. They are not open enough to surrender to this higher consciousness and to become a true reflection of the Son of reality, which is God in our life. So, Baha'u'llah says, Baha'u'llah was Abdu'l-Baha's father, as I said, the founder of the Baha'i faith, who lived from 1817 till 1892, and they both together were imprisoned for 40 years. So most of their life was spent in prison for those simple teachings which you are reading here right now. Baha'u'llah says, and with thy love in my heart, all the world's afflictions can in no wise alarm me. Why I put this here? Because once you have this love affair with the divine, and once you feel this connection, when your soul become united with the Creator, in yoga we say, when Atman becomes one with Brahman, we reach Samadhi, enlightenment. This is the purpose, by the way, of yoga, and this is the purpose of every religion, of every spiritual path, of every human life, is to explore and experience this beautiful unification of the soul with the divine. And once you have even sparkle of this love, of this divine love in your heart, these world's afflictions which we are facing in our everyday life, right now it's the pandemic, another day it will be something else, or within your own small reality, there are many afflictions in our life. But if we have this divine love, then there is nothing or whatsoever which truly can alarm you. So I personally believe that the key for all disease, the key for all distortions of the mind, which is stress, anxiety, depression, and the list goes on, is all related to one single thing: disconnection from the source. And if you can rebuild this connection with the divine, you will have no more afflictions which can disturb you or create any distortion in your life, because you understand that you have everything, and the most important thing, you have the love of God within your heart, and that is the most powerful thing that you can ever have. And with that, you can change darkness into light. And all the afflictions which we are facing in our life are nothing else but opportunities for ourselves to grow and to have a greater depth of understanding about this love affair with the divine. Abdu'l-Baha says, love is greater than peace, for peace is founded upon love. And we can go through all the beautiful spiritual virtues, because love is the foundation. Love is something that requires an open heart, obviously, as we discussed, and this connection with the divine. But once you have that, it will truly bring not just peace, inner peace in your life, but also it gives you the tool to transform the life of others. And this is the reason, this is the main purpose of your creation. The Creator, which is love, created you as another entity of love in order to love. So love wants his love to love. That's simple. This is the ultimate truth of life. All you need is learn, understand, and practice in your every breath you take in your life. Abdu'l-Baha also mentions, with another beautiful quote, the pure heart is one that is entirely cut away from self. To be selfless is to be pure. So all the distortions which come between the individual soul and this connection with the divine is because of our selfishness, is because of our separation from our soul, because the soul is pure love. And once we are living our life from this place, then there's nothing else which we can do but sharing our light with one another. So we become actually selfless, we become whole, because we understand that the other person is you and you are the other person. You will find yourself in every person. You will find the signs of God, and that is the purpose of this love affair which we have with the divine. And without manifesting love in deeds, in actions, it's not true love. That's why it's so important that whenever we are not connected, we need to make sure that we find the way back to the Creator so that we won't harm anymore. Because the mind can come very easily back, sneaking back, and then we again start to be harmful towards ourselves and towards others. So we get to the third love, which is something very difficult to understand for me as well, because this is a love of God himself towards himself. It's the God, because as Jesus said, God is love. So it has to manifest in its essence. As Abdu'l-Baha explains here, the third love is the love of God towards the self, or identity of God. This is the transfiguration of his beauty, the reflection of himself in the mirror of his creation. This is the reality of love. I like this word, the ancient love, the eternal love. Through one ray of this love, all other love exists. So basically, this love is the most ancient love. If I try to explain what God is, I would have only a very limited understanding, because a creation would never understand its creator, right? Let me give you an example. I look at, in my room, there is a beautiful painting. This painting will never understand the painter. This table will never understand the carpenter. The same way, me as a creation, I would always have a limitation, a limited understanding of the divine. So the same way as God is love, and I am his creation as another love, have always a limited understanding of its essence. So that is this third love, which is not as, how do you say, it's not there's anything I can do about that. It's there, and once I feel this connection with him, I just know that and realize that the true essence of this divinity is love itself. What a power is love. It is the most wonderful, the greatest of all living powers. It's just to give another understanding of the most important thing in life, in the universe, is love itself. That's what keeps everything together. That is the connection between atoms. That's the connection between humans, between animals, between plants, between minerals, between planets, between everything. And this love, which spreading out all over. What is the third love? Now we go into the fourth love, which is the love we all know. I mean, we think we all know, because that is between person to person. In a way, that's what we say, man to man, but in reality is soul to soul. Because if it's man to man, human to human, it's going to be always limited. But when it's soul to soul, this is what the true fourth kind of love is about. The fourth is the love of man for man. The love which exists between the hearts of believers is prompted by the ideal of the unity of spirits. This love is attained through the knowledge of God, so that man see the divine love reflected in the heart. Each sees in the other the beauty of God reflected in the soul, and finding this point of similarity, they are attracted to one another in love. This love will make all man the waves of one sea. This love will make them all the stars of one heaven and the fruits of one tree. This love will bring the realization of true accord, the foundation of real unity. So this kind of love is inaccessible unless we have the second kinds of love, which is our connection to the divine. That's why it says it's prompted by the idea of the unity of spirits, because this love can only manifest truly if I understand that we are all one big human family, that we are all one. There is no difference between races, nationalities, ethnicities, and the more beautiful the garden, the flowers in the garden, the more beautiful the garden becomes. So this unity in diversity is what shows how true love is, because I understand that just because someone is different than me, it's just another love affair of God, how he created us in the image of him, so that we can love ourselves even more. Imagine if everyone was created the same way. So this fourth kind of love is basically helping us to manifest the oneness of humanity. Without these four kinds of love, it's impossible to become as one human family. And as Baha'u'llah taught us in the 19th century, our greatest mission today for humanity, in order to progress further, is to bring the unity of mankind. He says, the earth is but one country and mankind its citizens. So this statement can only be achieved if we can practice that in our relationships. Every relationships, not just in your family, not just in your marriage, not just with those ones who you have blood relationship, but actually this man for man truly means that you love your enemies. You love everyone for the sake of God. As Abdu'l-Baha says, never become angry at one another. Be in perfect unity. Love the creatures not for themselves. Love the creatures for the sake of God. If you love that person for the sake of God, because you realize that this person is another beautiful love affair of God, and the outcome is that beautiful shining soul, which may be not that shining when he's shouting at you, but if you know deep down that we all are love affairs of God, that's why we are here, then, and you practice that, then all those hatred and all those lack of love will be healed. And that is why Abdu'l-Baha was such a great example for humanity, because he loved everyone, even though he spent most of his time in prison. And that's why forgiveness is so important. Because until you forgive, you will never be able to truly love. And the true forgiveness comes from your divine connection, the second love. The only real difference that exists between people is that they are at various stages of development. Some are imperfect, these must be brought to perfection. Some are asleep, they must be awakened. Some are negligent, they must be aroused. But one and all are the children of God. Love them all with your whole heart. No one is a stranger to the other. All are friends. How beautiful these words are. So, if you truly believe that we are the love affair of God, then it's today your time to start practicing it. Because if you don't practice that, if you are limiting your love towards those people who loving you back, or if they do what you want them to do, if your love is conditioned according to your needs and desires, then you will always missing out the true depth of what love is. And you are just scratching the surface, you know? It's like you're living in Malta and you go down to the beach and you are watching the sea, but you never go in it. You are missing out because you never truly understand what the sea is. You never truly learn what is true love is until you are practicing this divine connection with God. And only then, as we receive His blessings, His unconditional love, we will be empowered to move mountains, No matter what happens with your life, no matter how big the pandemic is, no matter who you lost in your life, no matter how aggressive people are around you, you become a sparkling light, unaffected from the afflictions of the world, as it was saying before, unaffected. But how can I do that? I need to keep this very deep connection with God. And if I keep that connection, only then truly I can love you as well, and him and her, and all creatures. That's why Gandhi says, be the change you want to see in the world. If I am not love, but pretend to be love, it's not enough. If I say I try to love him, it's not love. You either in love or you're not. You can strive and you can consciously make the effort, but the only way you can truly love those people who hurt you is if you have a very strong faith, which comes from, again, the second love. If you don't have faith, you are not strong enough and you will vanish because the world around you is very dirty, and that mirror becomes dirty. And if that mirror, which is your heart, is dirty, you won't be able to reflect the rays of the sun. So I need to polish my mirror every single moment. That's why we have prayers. That's why we have the tools like meditation, being in nature, being in solitude. I must learn how to open up my heart to the world and to God. If I love you, I need not continually speak of my love. You will know without any words. This is true love, everyone. When I don't need to talk anymore. When I just look deep into your eyes. When I just stand in front of you and you feel my love. This is true love. Because once you start to explain, once you start to justify, you are missing out about what is truly love. Love is an energy which needs to flow. It's like the wind. Can you tell the wind to please don't go that way, only this way? The wind is going. You want it or not, because the purpose of the wind is to blow. The purpose of the waves is to move. The purpose of the sun is to give its light. The purpose of you is to shine your love. Be kind to all around and serve one another. Love to be just and true in all your dealings. And of course, one of my favorite quotes, where there is love, nothing is too much trouble, and there is always time. So it's not conditioned to the time, at least. And obviously, I need to admit that we are imperfect, right, everyone? None of us is perfect, because if we were perfect, we wouldn't be in this body. We are imperfect, striving for perfection. That's why we are here. And because we are imperfect, our love is always going to be conditioned. But the question is, how much conditioned? And each day, if you can love more, love deeper, then you are in progression and you are fulfilling the will of God. God wants us to come closer each day to Him, which means love more. In the garden of thy heart, plant not, but the rose of love. Baha'u'llah said in the hidden words, I love hidden words, everyone. If you truly want to meditate, then start reading the hidden words of Baha'u'llah, because that has so much depth of understanding. Short sentences and beautiful aphorisms for a lifetime investigation of the truth. Baha'u'llah says that your purpose is the independent search for truth. So you need to search for it. It's not given to you. It's something you need to make the effort. And here it says, do not plant anything else in your heart, but the rose of love. Baha'u'llah here in the hidden verse, he has another quotation where he says that I have given you everything. You have your free will, you can do whatever you want, but I have given you something which is not yours. Only one thing. And this is your heart, because your heart is mine. Sanctify it so I can visit you. Beautiful. Yet, in spite of being so occupied with work, for example, if the heart is not chained and tied to this world and is not troubled by current events, neither hindered by wealth from rendering service to mankind, nor grieved because of poverty, then this is human perfection. So heart cannot be chained. Heart is liberation from the chains of this world. Only if we learn how to live from here and not from here. Moving your life to the heart center. And you rather fully open and being hurt than safeguarding this part of your life, but you never explore and experience what true love is and what life is. So just to finish up, I just wanted to share with you what is not true love, because we went through all the 4 kinds of love. And I just want to highlight what is not love, which most of the people basically identify with love is. Abdu'l-Baha says, but the love which sometimes exists between friends is not true love because it is subject to transmutation. This is merely fascination. As the breeze blows, the slender trees yield. If the wind is in the east, the tree leans to the west. And if the wind turns to the west, the tree leans to the east. This kind of love is originated by the accidental conditions of life. This is not love, it is merely acquaintanceship. It is subject to change. Last word, subject to change. So if it's subject to change, it's not love, ladies and gentlemen. If it's eternal, then you got it. If you are angry at me and you don't love anymore, it means you not truly love me or any other people. If you love someone for eternity, no matter what he does, she does, then you got it. Then you managed to find this soul-to-soul connection. And primarily, you managed to get this beautiful love affair with God. Today you will see 2 souls apparently in close friendship. Tomorrow all this may be changed. Yesterday they were ready to die for one another. Today they shun one another's society. This is not love. It is the yielding of the hearts to the accidents of life. When that which has caused this love to exist passes, the love passes also. This is not in reality love. So, accidents of life. Therefore, just another reminder, things happen. You will get hurt. You will get many times down. You will hurt by others. But this is part of life. being hurt is part of life, because only through this dualistic understanding of darkness and light, hate and love, female, masculine, cold and heat, we truly can distinguish what is the right and what is not. That's why we want, and not we, God wants you to receive what is, whatever it is. Embrace it. Because if someone comes to you who is, let's say, diplomatically not a nice person, whenever it comes to my life, right away I look up to the sun and I say, thank you, God, I understand. I need to practice love. Because that is an opportunity for you. It's again easy to love someone who loves you, but can you truly love someone who harms you, who is consciously doing harm? Now that's where true love comes in. As I always say, you really want to understand what truly patience is? Wait till you have children and you will understand. Same way with love. You will be tested all the time. And without testing, you cannot grow. It's impossible. In yoga, in order to become more flexible, you need to go through pain. People are avoiding pain because the mind wants to avoid pain and gain more pleasure. That's why we do not go into relationships, because we are afraid of being hurt. So we never ever explore what true love is, because we are cutting away the experience. So, sum it up, ladies and gentlemen, the 4 kinds of love: God to humanity, humanity to God, number 2, God to himself, because it's the origin, it's the creator. Creator is love itself. And then the 4th one is man to man, which I would call soul to soul. Because if it's only man to man, if you love someone because he is handsome, because he is intelligent, because he is this, he has money, he is this and that, it won't last, and it's not true love. You love that person because that beautiful soul shining through. In the world of existence, there is indeed no greater power than the power of love. When the heart of man is aglow with the flame of love, he is ready to sacrifice all, even his life. Are you guys ready to sacrifice your life? Are you ready to surrender and give up everything for this love affair with the divine? Because this is a true flame of love. There's no way back. Once you get it, it spreads like the COVID-19. And no matter what you put on your mouth, no matter how you covering up, that love will go through everything. Even if that time when you share it, that person will not accept it, but believe me, that love which you share with the other person is like a seed which you put in the hearts of that person. Maybe it takes 10 years time. Maybe it's 50 years time. But you put the seed there. And there's nothing else you need to do. Just wherever you go in your life, place these seeds everywhere. And second, try to water it. Because that person might not be able, not capable yet to understand that seed, that it needs the love of God. Takes time, takes effort. But you just continuously need to nourish and water it, and it will sprout. If the seed is there, if you are nourishing that seed, there's no way that it cannot grow. It's impossible. It's the promise of God. This is just a beautiful picture of my master Abdul Baha, who changed my life and changed another 8 million people's life, and probably many more. He lived between 1844 till 1922. We call him as a perfect exemplar about how to love, how to just be the servant of God. Whenever I'm in bad situation, I just look at his face, and right away I know what my job is. So that's for me the tool. You can create your own tool, but for me, if I'm angry at someone, I put it on my phone. So this picture is on my phone. I just look into Abdul Baha's eyes, and right away, all my anger is gone, because he reminds me the second kinds of love, which is the love of God to you. It's there. And if it's there, and mine is, the first one, and the second one is mine to him, then you are all set, ready to change the world. So he is also renowned as a champion of social justice and an ambassador for international peace. He authorized interpreter of the Baha'i writings after his father passed away, but also as a perfect exemplar of the faith, spirit, and teachings. As I mentioned, he was the one who actually explained the teachings of his father throughout Europe. He traveled after he was released from the prison, after his father passed away. He was released, and he managed to travel and teach the Baha'i faith to different parts of the world. Mainly he went to Egypt, Europe, North America, and his service to humanity offered a vivid demonstration of basically his father's teachings in action. And this is what he says: to be a Baha'i simply means to love all the world, to love humanity, and try to serve it, to work for universal peace and universal brotherhood. That's all. Let us have love and more love, a love that melts all opposition, a love that conquers all foes, a love that sweeps away all barriers, a love that abandoneth in charity, a large-heartedness, tolerance, forgiveness, and noble striving, a love that triumphs over all obstacles. This is a picture of him when he was younger. So thank you so much. If you have any questions you want to ask me later on, you can always reach me at my email, balazs.heller@gmail.com. I have my mobile number. I'm available on WhatsApp. And I have a Facebook page devoted to this love affair, to all my students and to all who are interested in being inspired. It's called Soul to Soul Coaching. So if you go on Facebook, you receive a lot of inspiration and to keep that seed being nurtured every single day. Thank you so much for your time. And I'm sorry, Payam, he asked me to make it 30 minutes. It's a mission impossible. I see it's 1 hour, but now you can ask questions.
There was a question in the chat before while you were talking that says, what does it mean to love God?
What does it mean to love God?
Yeah.
That is an amazing question. I don't know who asked that question, but it's one of the most powerful questions, because I was there as well asking that, what does it mean loving God? Maybe the best way to explain is loving the world, it means that you love God. Loving all creatures, as we explained, it means loving God to me. When I become selfless, and there is a beautiful quotation from Rumi, who is also coming from Persia, like Abdul Baha and Baha'u'llah, who says, you are not one drop of the ocean, but you are the ocean in that one drop. So what does it mean to me, love God, is that I realize that I'm not that drop. I realize that I am the ocean in that one drop. And I'm not acting like a drop, which is really powerless. You know, it evaporates very easily if you leave that on the sun. But if I'm connected to the ocean, which is something that you, whoever asked this question, you need to find this ocean because it's there around you, within you. It's just, you're completely empowered by this, otherwise you wouldn't exist. If you go beyond your own thoughts and selfish desires and you conquer the mind and you transcend or bypass this limited self, which is connected to our self-centeredness, then the ocean will show its power, and that will be one of the most beautiful awakening experience. I was just, maybe I can say at age 10, my uncle taught me about meditation, and that's where I started to explore God or God consciousness. I think meditation is a great tool to learn and to find the switch off button of this mind, which is like a blockage to tap into this into this higher consciousness. I hope I answered the question. Any other questions?
Yes, Bahadur is asking. Yes, please, Bahadur. Go ahead.
Maybe I could probably say, we were talking about love, divine love, godly love. This love is not a product of our thoughts. So how can we inherit this love? We cannot create this love, because the mind creates. So how can we inherit this love? It's a gift. This love, I think, in the first instance, in the world of spirituality, is born from an innocent mind. A child in its very raw form is full of this love, and this is why when you pick up that child, it just warms you from inside. As the mind becomes polluted over time, that feeling, that emotion seems to disconnect. Now, how do we get this innocent mind? Through meditation and connecting with your spiritual prophet, for sure. This love basically is born from the consciousness of the expansion of the consciousness. As our consciousness expands and expands and expands, so will this love expand with us. Now, what do we mean by the expansion of consciousness? It simply means when we are able to touch everything around us with this love. And when our consciousness actually expands, all it's doing is simply touching. It gets to the point where it binds us into the Lord and his creation. So the first stage, I think, is submission of your pride, submission of your intellect. That is our first place. So when you submit, then your consciousness begins to expand. As your consciousness expands, your divine love, as you say, begins to expand. It starts touching other people. And as it touches other people, it absorbs into the divinity of the Lord. You become one with the Lord. And as you become one with the Lord, you become one with His creation. You become one with the Lord. You become whole in yourself. That is how I understand this, Balazs. Please, if I am wrong.
Thank you so much. I 100% agree with you. And thank you for sharing and adding. Is there any other question left? So if there are no more questions, I thank you so much for your patience, first of all. Patience requires love. So you already practice love because you listened to me for so long. And thank you so much for your love. Don't forget that this seminar, which I gave to you, means nothing. It gives you no value unless you put into practice. So please start to love. Yes.
This talk that you've just made has given everyone a lot. And we're all going to go offline, and we're all going to reflect on what you've just said. So I don't think that this talk was not good.
Thank you.
This talk was fantastic. You are not nothing. You are not nothing. You are everything sometimes.
I'm just following the teachings of my master. So this love is coming from him. So whatever come through me is because of him and because of God. And that's what I want to show everyone, to connect to the source, just like I do my everyday duty to connect to the source. So thank you so much, everyone. Next next Saturday, there will be another talk given by the Switzers again about related to relationship. So hope you can join that. And in 2 weeks' time, we have another interesting one, but I don't want to share it yet. So sorry?
Justice.
Okay, yes. So thank you so much for your time. I wish you a wonderful night and practice of love for the rest of your life and beyond. Have a good evening.
Thank you very much, Balazs.
Balazs.
I really enjoyed every single minute.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.